Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming, more Arc Raiders. Today I'm talking about PvP and basically a overall guide for lots of specific aspects of PvP. Your basic combat techniques, important mechanics that you will be better knowing, the settings I think you should have, the best utility and how to use it, all kinds of topics I want to talk about. I think we're all feeling the change of everyone's friendly to there's a lot more PvP encounters in more scenarios. So being a bit more confident and comfortable with it is going to be important, especially when you deal with people like this who act friendly and then shoot you, and you want to be able to deal with them, or ideally spot it before it happens. With that said then, we begin with the basic combat techniques. These three I think are things you're going to need to know and feel comfortable doing to function in this game. First up, slide shooting. With your gun out, you sprint, then slide. While you're sliding, you're able to ADS and aim. You can also do this and go backwards, shooting behind you. Pretty cool. I love doing this in PvP because if there's a hill or any slide potential, you make yourself a very fast moving target that's able to accurately shoot at them in a pretty predictable way for you. Here's a basic one, rolling between shots. Any gun that has a delay between the shots is going to kind of benefit from this, even with faster fire rates with an upgraded anvil. It's a super basic technique where you fire and then roll, and then fire and then roll. As you can see, even in a basic scenario where Josh has been ambushed here, he's able to use this technique to change the fight in his favor. All you're doing is making your head an unlikely target and making it harder to predict and understand what you're doing in the moment. This best applies to weapons with that delay between shots though. Lastly, quick topic of jump shots. If you jump, you're going to see that your accuracy is going to be lost. So you can see here, as I'm aiming and I'm jumping, we're losing that accuracy. It's making the spread a lot bigger. But interestingly, at the start of the jump, the accuracy is maintained. And if you're ADSing while falling, you tighten up quite quickly. So this allows you to shoot at the start of a jump or at the end of a jump. So what I want you to do is combine all three. Super popular and simple concept is to slide peek, then when you're done, you go back into cover. Example of that is something like an anvil, where we slide, we take the shot, we go back into cover, and then we sort of reset the scenario. And then they're feeling the pressure, especially if you landed the shot. You can also peek with a jump shot, and then a roll back into cover. And you can really mix it up with, say, like a slide peek, back into the cover, get back up, jump shot them, roll back into the cover, whatever it is. Those three are sort of the core of combat, in my opinion. And I strongly recommend you try to avoid blindly walking around corners if you think someone's near. Always have your gun in your hands so you're able to react right away. And if you're going to peek a corner and there's a remote chance someone's there, jump peek it or slide peek it, because you'll massively reduce the odds of them landing their headshot on you, which would decide the fight before it even gets going if you're that close. Next, important mechanics to know. Swapping your weapon is slow as hell, especially in the middle of a fight. But if you start a weapon swap, then roll, you'll come up with the other weapon. See, I'm holding the anvil, I start the swap to the sticher, I'm holding the sticher. And this is how quick I'm able to fire as I come up from the roll, like a normal roll between the delays of the shots. It's incredibly impactful, and so I love this with something like a ferro. You use it almost like a shotgun. Someone surprises you, you take the shot, you hit the weapon swap and the roll, and you come up firing with the other weapon to finish them. Genuinely saves my life so much, especially if you run free loadouts. Just be warned that if you've got one weapon in your hands and you roll, then swap, which is what a lot of people do, this is what's going to get you killed. You swap, then roll while the weapon changes. Next thing, you can heal and move while sliding. If you've got any kind of basic slide, even on flat ground, it at least lets you recover some health or shield or whatever it is while you're going. This also works with adrenaline shots when you're crossing the map. Why move slower if you want to go faster? Another example is burst healing and burst shield restore. Shield restore and healing, it only allows you one thing at a time normally. You have to wait until the bandage heal finishes to reapply the next bandage, that kind of thing. But if you have something like a Vita shot or a surge shield recharger, you can overlap the healing. So a bandage, then a Vita shot, or a shield recharger, then a surge shield recharger. You get to double up on the healing, triggering a burst of shield restore or health, which could change your fight by you being back to full. Another important mechanic, Hipfire on corners and pillars is really strong. Where you're using the third person advantage, there's not a lot of skill in this and it's very simple. Basically, poke your gun just around the corner so your arm's basically showing and fire into them. Then go back into cover as they try to punish you. Then you do it again. And you can see in these scenarios where I'm really disadvantaged in one of these actually, I still pull out the win by using Hipfire quick peeking. Everyone knows the venator is absolutely ridiculous because you've got the twin shot special trait. 2 shots at once into a head is a lot of damage, and with the fire rate at level 4, it's absolutely ridiculous. This remains one of the fastest kill times in the game, despite the nerf. But if you're looking to run something like a venator in the absolute budget version, I want you to think about how ridiculously good a kettle, especially when upgraded, actually is. You have to fire like 4 times with the venator and they're dead, where it's 7 with the kettle into the head to kill them. And when upgraded with basic attachments, there basically is no recoil. It's like the ultimate budget version of a venator. And because the headshot multiplier is so impactful, landing even a couple headshots during the duration of a fight will change your loss to a win. One final important mechanic to know is that when someone spawns in, like yourself, you'll make a clear sound as your shield loads up as if you just started charging it after equipping it. This is your warning that someone spawned near you, and a rough direction or their location. If someone else knows this and they hear your spawn in, you need to be ready that they heard you. Next, important settings to consider. As you can see, I don't have a normal crosshair. I have like this circle with a dot in the center of it. Why is it that a lot of people do this instead of the default crosshair? Well, it's because the default crosshair is terrible. You can change it under the menu settings under accessibility. A few of my friends have been running crosshairs like this for some time now, and I genuinely don't understand it at all. We don't have the dot in the center here, which makes it hard to be accurate. Plus, we're not actually showing the top half of what's possible when it comes to spread. Go to accessibility and override your crosshair shape and make sure the center dot is actually on. I also turn it off of cross to circle because it actually shows where that spread can be. Then you can change the thickness and color to your personal preference. I like green, and I like these settings here. Next, there are 2 settings that I hated when I was playing the game initially, which is the button to swap the POV, which is very important, and the button to put your weapon away. Both of these are bound to a button on the side of my mouse instead of whatever it was at the start, like H and X. If you're having to take your hands off of WASD to move, to put your weapon away or swap perspective or whatever it is, that's a clear disadvantage, so change them to something more comfortable. Lastly, if you're going to be peeking like this with your gun pressed against the terrain, you can see how there's a special UI effect that shows that I cannot land this shot as it's actually going to go into this wall where the circle really is instead of where the dot is. I really like this setting because it instantly shows me when I can fire and when I'm going to be obscured, letting me successfully corner peek properly. This is under accessibility as well, blocked line of fire. These are my settings for it. I have move crosshair when line of fire is blocked on. I have smooth when line of fire is blocked off. This means it's going to sort of pop into the correct place as soon as I'm actually out from the cover, which helps me accurately fire. Next, I want to talk about utility. Run any or some of these as much as you want to invest. The cheapest option is impact grenades for the obvious option. Someone's healing behind this corner, I crack them, stop the healing. They're holding me on this corner, I force them off the corner. I'm able to throw them back to back to back to back super quick. They're hilariously cheap and effective for what is super common in PvP. The better version of this is the trigger grenades because you can accurately throw it and then pop it when you want. It's a bigger AoE and it deals significantly more damage. I think we all know trigger grenades are insane. Right behind that is showstoppers, which work like impact grenades. So the moment they actually encounter a target, they're going to pop. Otherwise, they have a long delay like that. So as you can see, I can throw them. The moment it comes in range of this guy, it pops. This causes them to go into a standing freak out animation, forcing them out of cover. They're easy headshots. Just be careful that you don't use the showstopper too close to someone because you'll also CC yourself. If these are all too expensive for you, at least consider snap blast grenades, which can be great area control. They're going to do less damage than your trigger and such, but it is an obvious red glow which forces them off a corner, and if they stay on it, it will hit them. Another beautiful aspect of them is that they actually stick to targets, so if you land it direct, that is a nightmare for them. Then we have basics like smoke grenades. Use this to cover yourself as you're being shot, give yourself some way to survive when you're out in the open, or use it during fights. Pop it down and create space, get away, which is really nice. Or let's say you've got a close range weapon, like a toro. Throw it in the corridor where they're holding you on a corner or whatever it is, close the distance, and now play in your optimal range. Traps can be a great way to protect yourself. The best one generally is the jolt mine. You can pop these on walls and ceilings, not just the floor. If someone sees it, they can shoot it and trigger it, and be wary that arc can also trigger it too. It works like a showstopper though. They step into it, they get that 2 seconds of CC, they're super vulnerable. If you're gonna loot a high value location or room, popping one of these outside can be the alarm that you need, or literally just win you the fight. Two other great options are barricades and lure grenades. Barricades are great in team fights or inside corridor-like environments such as all of Stella Montis, closing off areas or covering a friend while you revive them or covering a dead body so that you can loot it in a more secure manner. Barricades are fantastic and very cheap to craft if you have the blueprint. Finally, lure grenades. These distract arc and stick to targets so you can throw it at an enemy and get all the arc attention on them. Get the arc attention off you so you can extract successfully. It's great utility if you find them or feel like crafting and bringing them in, even just one. Alright, here's some concepts I want to talk about. Firstly, pressure. When someone has taken a hit or a few, they usually try to hide and heal. Like, it shocks me how often people go to heal, especially shield recharge, when they're hurt. Even if I'm basically right next to them, they put the gun away and start healing, letting me walk up and finish them. If you have a chance to heal, then yeah, go for it. Especially if your raw health is under 50 total health, you want that more than a shield. Or you could even use the burst healing combos we talked about. But if you get cracked and they're pushing you fast, your best hope is to return fire. Use third person to peek and punish them and level the playing field, if you can't create new space between you quick. When people know you're low, they turn their brain off and rush you, which is really easy to punish if they're coming at you in a straight line. This could be a few fast headshots, it could be nades on the spot they're about to stand on, or other kind of utility. Yes, try to play smart, but play with confidence. A couple headshots will end the fight fast or turn it around, and again, when they run at you with their brain off because you're low, it's easy to land them. Also on the topic of pressure, we have sound. Be aware that sliding is louder than sprinting. People are going to hear you slide even more than they'll hear you sprint. There's also the concept of slow walking, which you will need to bind. This is actually faster than crouch moving, as you can see, unless you have the 5 points in it in the skill tree, but even then, I think it might still be slower. In general, I like to do this movement because it sets me up faster, and I'm on the right sort of like head level that I want to swing someone on. Be aware that healing of any kind is ultra loud and clear, so if you start healing, people will hear it. And finally, if someone is being pressured by any arc really, the audio is so loud, as you probably know. This lets you walk up on them and easily attack them while they can't hear anything, and unfortunately vice versa, which is when you're most vulnerable if you're the one under attack. So be very careful around other players if arc is attacking you specifically. On that note, we have behavior. How do you spot betrayal behavior before it happens? As we all know, there can be people that come up to you and go, hey, don't shoot. Like this guy. Someone just did it to someone here, they're down, I put them down, and the other guy's like, oh, you're amazing, here's all my loot, I was looking for a defib, couldn't find it, down. Then this guy comes up the escalator going, hey, don't shoot, this is my mistake, don't make the same mistake. Never leave yourself exposed to someone you don't know. In this scenario, what I should have done is the exact same thing, except when I went to loot, have my gun in my hands, cancel the loot the moment I start the animation, and roll. Then when this guy tries to fire at me with his terrible free kit rattler, he's not going to kill me and then I can put him down. Another example is this guy. I'm trying to talk to him and go, hey, I'm going to go get the matriarch. You want to come help? He responds to me maybe once, maybe twice, and isn't answering any of my questions. But he is staying very close to me, specifically my back. His gun is in his hands the whole time. This should be triggering alarm bells for you. You shouldn't trust someone like this. I did not trust him and I was getting ready to return fire. But of course, an arc aggroes me specifically and then he attacks. How could I have dealt with this differently? Be clear in my communication. Hey, you're not responding to me. You're making me uncomfortable. My gun is in my hands. I'm looking directly at him the whole time. Hey, reply to me or I'm gonna shoot. This sets like clear boundaries and warning, meaning even if you choose to shoot first, at least you were the one being decent in the scenario. This way, you protect yourself from being shot in the back. Next, a quick mention of group PvP. Group PvP has very different rules, but for one specific tip that I want to stress just to get it out, for the love of God, if your teammate is suddenly being shot by someone, even in the open at any relevant distance, this means the person shooting them is standing still while they're shooting and are basically a free target. So while your teammate's rolling around trying to avoid being shot, the guy shooting them is standing there. Don't go for a flank, run for cover, maybe plan your calendar for the next week. Literally just turn and shoot the guy, ideally in the head, will probably crack his shield and freak him out. That will save your teammate or turn the fight around. I never let people shoot my team without being punished if it's remotely possible for me. And that's something I'm trying to ram into my teammates and friends. When I'm being shot, they need to shoot the people shooting me because it's free. Now a quick mention of loadout and examples of it. For your augment, obviously the most common and popular PvP option is the Tactical Mark II. This triggers the passive to pop a shield, protecting you. It's one of the best options we have in the game for someone ambushing us and then a chance to survive because suddenly there's smoke. There are other options that are better though because, you know, the max loadout weight and limited slot count of this is a problem. Ideally you run the survivor because when you get downed, yeah, you can like stay alive forever if you stay still. But mainly this allows medium shields and much greater max loadout weight, slot economy, and 3 safe slots. It's ridiculous. But another good option is the Tactical Mark III Defensive. You get more loadout weight in general, the slot count's solid. You could go to heavy if you want, but ideally medium. But then you get a shield recharger integrated into your kit. So it's like having a free surge recharger every 2 minutes, which is really nice. Overall, I think you should be running medium shield as much as you can. Of course, light shield can work, but the smaller amount of shields burns through way faster. If you win one fight and then a second player starts attacking you after that, this is where a medium shield would actually help you. So I prefer medium shield overall. In terms of weapon loadouts, you can run either one weapon or 2. In regards to 2, I try to have 2 different purposes: close range and long range, player killer, arc killer, though obviously, you know, anvil can work for both. Any weapon that can do both can work on its own, obviously. But having a weapon for medium to longer ranges and a close range weapon is another fantastic combo. What are the best PvP weapons and why? In my opinion, best all-rounders for both budget and their effectiveness. The top choice is always Venator. Even if it's nerf state, it's still ridiculously good. With that, you have the Anvil, which can deal with everything incredibly well. 2 headshots and you've got someone down. It works at close, medium and long ranges and is a fantastic solo weapon. The Toro is obviously top tier for PvP and close range, best combined with a different weapon that can handle medium and longer ranges or kill arc. Finally, the Renegade will work great in close, medium and far and is a solid solo weapon too, but could be a great choice to go with that Toro. My favorite budget weapons then are the Kettle, the Sticher and the Ferro. The Kettle is a headshot machine. The Sticher is a mag dumping wonder. Both of them should be upgraded to level 4 as fast as possible, and the first attachment should be the mag increase. But like I said before, the Kettle is like the baby Venator, and for how cheap it is to run, that's amazing. I also like the Ferro, even at level 1, because the whole point of it is to do the weapon swap. Use it like a shotgun, you fire into them, you do the weapon swap and finish the person off. It at least gives you an option to deal with arc as well. Obviously upgraded though, faster reload's amazing. Finally, we have the expensive but really solid for their purposes. You have your close range weapons in the Vulcano and the Bobcat. Vulcano is just mag dump stat check, especially when upgraded. Meanwhile, the Bobcat is quite similar. Mag dump stat check people, super easy in close ranges, feels awesome. And lastly, you have the Tempest, which can work in all scenarios, close, far, medium, especially medium. But the problem with these is that they're purple weapons, which requires a lot more resources to run and repair. In my opinion, free loadouts and the budget grey weapons are too good. The balance rechange I would like to see is that the uncommon weapons durability burns twice or triple as fast, while remaining as good as they are now. Meanwhile, I want the epics, their durability to last 2 or 3 times as long. Why am I investing so hard into a Bobcat when a Sticher is arguably as good and costs way less? To end this video and final advice, I do recommend running free kit loadouts on Stellar Montes with the express purpose of PvP. Not survival, not loot, but PvP. This gives you great context to practice, like you're there to learn 1 or 2 specific tips or concepts we talked about today, and just get comfortable. Then you can move on to the next specific tip or whatever and take that in. You know, trying to work on 15 things at once is silly. And if you're nervous to practice with a real loadout, then yeah, the free kit method is right there. But just be warned, you limit your ability to actually learn because you will have random utility. You'll have a light shield. You might load in with a Ferro and have to do the lander shot melee trick, that kind of stuff. So, you know, run cheap and effective loadouts with actual healing utility and practice that. You'll survive more than 1 or 2 fights because you did that. If you do find yourself in a scenario where you've met someone who's chill or a team of people and you want to work together, feel free. You find some great loot, take it and leave. But obviously, focused practice is going to help you get better faster. And as soon as you feel ready, run some cheap actual loadouts rather than the free kits. But yeah, that's my PvP guide and talk video. I hope I was able to add something new to the table and some advice that you can actually work on. And if you guys have anything you'd like to add to the topics we talked about today, or offer more advice, let us know. But until next time, I've been Hollow, you've been you, and thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.